Hello, this is Mr. Fitzgerald, and this is the recording designed to clarify any instructions regarding the major writing project, the Natural Disaster Report. I will be presenting the rubric in this video as well as the layout, both of which were shared with all students at the outset of this project. The students have had a total of 8 days in class to work on this using electronic and non-electronic sources that have been in many cases selected and presented to students. This rubric, which students received at the first day, describes the grading and the expectations of this project. Students were given the opportunity to choose a natural disaster, to begin some initial research, and to decide and confirm that this was the event they wished to study. They also have had shared with them an exemplar, a model that they could follow, as well as a scaffold that I will be showing in a minute, explaining explicitly what information to put where. But we begin with the grading. As you can see, the majority of the grade comes from ideas and information. 20 points for describing the disaster, its causes, and different types. Different types can mean the different categories of a hurricane and what makes a hurricane fall into category 1 versus 2, or a scale used to rate a disaster, such as the Richter scale for earthquakes. It is expected that the disaster will be described. What is an earthquake? What is a cyclone, for example, as well as the different types. Students are asked when and where the specific disaster happened. It has been made clear if it has occurred in more than one location. A hurricane is the best example to mention all locations. Most importantly, something that has been described at least 6 times in each class is the sequence of events. What happened when, with attention to anything unusual or important about the disaster. Students researching the Tohoku earthquake in Japan, for example, are reminded that the impact on the nuclear power plant in Fukushima and the radioactivity resulting from it is an important part of the story. The power outage from Hurricane Sandy in New York City is an important part of the story. Organization. Students have seen online and offline several examples of an encyclopedia entry, have had headings described to them, including in the exemplar. A relevant feature such as a map or photo from the internet is important, and they have had modeled many times sources of information, how to list a source, and how to evaluate a good versus a bad source. Sentence fluency is important. It reads smoothly and well due to very lengthy sentences. That is worth 5 points. Trying to move away from repeated short sentences. And finally, 15 points for conventions of the English language. Then there is the possible addition of what are called challenge points. Challenge points are basically a result of whether students have chosen disasters that are more difficult to research or describe. They were given a series of 5 choices that are relatively clear and basic, such as Mount St. Helens in the United States in the 1980 eruption, if they wanted to be certain to be on firm ground. If students chose something not listed in the United States, they would receive 2 bonus points or challenge points. If they chose to research a disaster that happened outside the United States, a foreign disaster, they could receive 4 additional points. Thus, a perfect paper on a foreign disaster of the student's choice could earn up to 104 points. Students have been shared with and have been encouraged to use the following document to help guide their project. The instructions are at the very top. The template is created to help structure the report. The final report should not have anything in red, which reminds students to put a title there. First heading, and yet again, key definition of a heading. Students are asked what causes the disaster, what types exist, what system is used to rank them. There are 4 types of volcanoes, for example. Second heading, when and where did the disaster happen and what was the sequence of events? Sources of information. There is a space for that as well. I will admit I go back and forth on Wikipedia very often, having seen with some of my colleagues how easy it is to edit Wikipedia and how easy it is to change information, and seeing over-reliance on it from students in the past. I have asked that this project be completed using research from a number of sources, many of which I have shown, collected, even printed out for students, not include Wikipedia. This is a repetition of the instructions given to students when this assignment was first given, and also confirms and repeats many instructions since then. Hopefully this will clarify any questions about this assignment.